Hi there, welcome. Please come in, have a seat. Great. Would you like some water or coffee? Okay, well, if you do, just let me know. Okay, great. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Bloom, and I will be the primary physician that will be taking care of all of your ASMR assessment sessions. It's nice to meet you. I'd first like to talk a little bit about what the ASMR trigger assessment sessions are, and then get some basic information from you, and then go right into the trigger tests. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, great. Okay, so a few months ago, this clinic was founded. We realized that ASMR experiencers really didn't have a firm grasp on what their triggers were. A lot of them, anyway. So we started offering these free sessions that we hold at least twice a month, and you come in and we begin to create an ASMR trigger profile for you. So these trigger test sessions involve different sounds, personal attention moments, and will eventually turn into also visual ASMR stimuli. All right? Okay. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be giving you a wide range of ASMR triggers. So we'll have 5 or 6 different key triggers that represent primary groups. So for instance, we'll have me playing with a roll of Scotch tape and pouring water into glasses. That's right. So each of your ASMR trigger sessions are going to be about half an hour. So make sure to plan that in your schedule for the upcoming sessions. This one will probably be a bit lengthier just because I want to try to build a rapport with you, and I want to try to really start off on the right foot and start building your trigger profile. Okay, well, let me explain the trigger profile thing. So a trigger profile is essentially the triggers that most resonate with you. So we view it as everyone has primary, secondary, and kind of occasional triggers. So your primary triggers, there's usually a handful of them, and those will be the triggers that really stimulate your ASMR almost every time you hear them or see them, and you really don't get immune to them. Now the second group of triggers are the secondary triggers. They are triggers that only work temporarily. So you do develop an immunity to them, and you will need to take a break for a week or two, and then you will be triggered by them again. And then of course there are triggers that will not work for you at all, or they'll only work occasionally when done in a certain way. For example, a personal attention moment such as a scalp massage. It may only work for you once, and then it won't ever work for you again. And the reason it worked that one time is because the person did it in such a way where it did trigger your ASMR. Does that make sense? Exactly, so it wouldn't be considered one of your triggers as much as one of your primary or secondary triggers. All right? Okay, so basically what's going to happen from here on out is every future ASMR trigger assessment session will be a particular group of triggers. So, for example, you might have one session that I hold in the future with you where it's all personal attention moments. So, and it might be all centered around grooming. So I will brush your hair, I will do a facial cleansing session, that sort of thing. And then your next appointment might be all collections of objects. So the sound of coins moving around in a dish, or me transferring sea stones from hand to hand and listening to them cascading upon one another. So primarily each of your ASMR trigger sessions will be groups of triggers, or one primary group. All right, does that make sense? I just want to make sure. It's a lot of information coming at you, I know, but yeah, so basically the goal is we want to build you a very detailed ASMR trigger assessment profile. Alright, so we're going to get started on your first trigger test right now. From here on out, I'm going to be speaking in a soft-spoken voice just because I find that's more relaxing. That's right, the goal here is to be as relaxed as possible. That way you can really try to stimulate your ASMR, and I want you to try to the best of your ability to block out any stress or negativity that you're currently experiencing in your life. Alright? Okay. So after this test, I will be asking you if you are experiencing ASMR mildly, moderately, or in the extreme. So all of the tests will be gauged upon this criteria. That's right, you don't have to worry about it during the test. Just go ahead and enjoy the sounds and really just try to relax as much as possible. And at the end, I will ask you to kind of determine if it did stimulate your ASMR and to what extent. All right? Wonderful. So this first sound is going to be the sound of plastic crinkling. So I am going to be using a cosmetic rounds package, and I'm going to be playing with it to stimulate some plastic noises. Okay? Great. if you're all set for the next trigger, I'll go ahead and get started on that. It's going to be the sound of flipping the pages of a magazine. So I'd like for you to just sit back, relax. That's right, you can even lie down on the couch. That's why we do hold all of the sessions in this kind of environment, because we want you to be as comfortable as possible. So, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and begin turning the pages of the magazine, and afterward I will ask you if it did trigger your ASMR. Wonderful. You're doing wonderful so far, so let's go ahead and move on to the next trigger. I'm going to be pouring water into glasses. I will be doing it slowly, and just go ahead and close your eyes and relax and focus on the sound of the water being poured. Great, I'll get started then. Would you say that that triggered your ASMR mildly, moderately, or extreme? Okay, I jotted that down. Alright, I'll move right on into the next test then. You're doing beautifully. Thank you for being so patient. Alright, this next test is going to involve me playing with some Scotch tape over here. So, I will be deliberately playing with the Scotch tape, and you just relax and see if it triggers your ASMR. Alright. For this next trigger assessment, I will be whispering to you. So I will actually be using a whispering voice, and I will be reading a recipe from a magazine. Alright, are you ready? Great. I'll go ahead then. These are recipes to use with fresh citrus. This is a tangerine sauce. It makes 6 servings. You will need 3 tangerines, peeled and separated into segments. 1 1/2 cups tangerine juice. 1 teaspoon granulated sugar. 1/8 of a teaspoon crushed red chili flakes. 4 tablespoons unsalted butter. 1/4 of a teaspoon salt. Freshly ground pepper. Place juice, sugar, and chili in a medium pan. Bring to a boil over high heat. When juice has reduced by half, turn heat down to low and quickly whisk in butter, salt, and a pinch of pepper. Remove from heat and stir in segments. For a summer salad recipe, citrus dressing adds a freshness to salads. Mix 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 teaspoon red wine vinegar, a dash each of salt and pepper, plus a hearty squeeze of an orange wedge. This is a thirst quencher recipe. For a summer cooler, blend 3 cups cubed watermelon into smooth. Strain into a small pitcher and mix juice with 1 1/2 cups cold water, half a cup of lime juice, and 6 tablespoons simple syrup. Serve over ice. This recipe is for classic pasta. You will need 2 tablespoons olive oil, plus more for garnish. 1 pound of ground pork. 1 pound of ground beef. 1 cup finely chopped onion. 1 cup finely chopped fennel. 1 cup
Parmesan cheese. Heat oil in a very large skillet and brown meats until cooked through. Remove meat, leave liquid in skillet. Add vegetables, garlic, pepper, salt.
Again, you're doing beautifully. I'm going to move on to the next trigger now, which will be the sound of a candy package. It's a very unique sound and one of my personal ASMR triggers, so let's go ahead and see if it triggers your ASMR, alright? Great. This is actually going to be our last trigger assessment test for today. I'm going to simulate or basically play with a hairbrush and see if it triggers your ASMR. It's one of the firm bristled brushes. Alright.
we're all through with that test. Would you say it was an extreme, moderate, or mild reaction? Terrific. Okay. Done with the notes for today. So, I just wanted to let you know that it was a wonderful meeting today, and I look forward to our next session. That's right, you can go ahead and call into the office whenever you like. I'd prefer to see you within 2 weeks' time, if not sooner.